26th, and I've had a very busy day today. This morning and early this afternoon, I was online getting things ready for us to start our online classes next week. And then in the afternoon, because it was so beautiful out, when I was done doing that work, I went outside to work in my gardens. So I thought I would share with you some of the things I'm going to be planting. I'm going to be planting them inside. I have a special light to help them grow. And over the next few weeks, you're going to be following along with me to see how well these plants are growing and how well they do once I get them outside. So here's some, not all of the things I'm going to be planting. I'm going to plant morning glories, columbine, corn, delicious, carrots, lettuce, tomatoes, and the most fun, and doesn't always work, pumpkins. I've had a hard time growing these in the past. Let's see how it does this year. And since I have gardening on my mind, I thought I would read to you a book today that I have never read to you before. This book is called Princess Chamomile's Garden. Princess Chamomile was riding her bike around the kitchen gardens, around and around and around and around. Now what shall I do? She asked Melchior the gardener. Can't ride around and around forever. You could help me, said Melchior. What really help? Said Chamomile. Really dig and really make things grow? If you don't mind getting a little muddy. I don't mind getting a lot muddy, said Chamomile. So Melchior found Chamomile a pitchfork that wasn't too heavy and showed her how to dig around the rose bushes without digging them up, and how to tell the difference between the weeds that were to be pulled and the little plants that weren't. Whew, she said when she had been at it for a while. This is such hard work. Maybe I'll sit in the shade for a bit. From the shade, Chamomile looked around the palace gardens. The thing is, she said, these gardens are too big. What I need is a littler, easier to help in garden. You mean more of a your size garden, said Melchior. Yes, replied Chamomile, a more of a my sort of garden. It would take planning, said Melchior, a garden like that. That's okay, said Chamomile, I'll plan. But at that moment, Nanny Nettle arrived to fetch Chamomile for her music lesson. Nanny Nettle was not at all pleased to see dirt in Chamomile's ears and dirt under her nails, and her clean that afternoon dress was as muddy as Melchior's overalls. She whisked her straight inside for a good scrubbing. But Chamomile didn't care, for while Nanny Nettle and the maids scrubbed away the dirt, she was dreaming about her garden. A good hopscotch place, she dreamed through the washcloths. Wildflowers for lots of butterflies, she dreamed, while she played Dance of the Sugar Plum Mice very badly. And a long grass place for cartwheels. Excuse me, princess, said Monsieur, her music teacher. I think we are not concentrating today. How can I concentrate, said Chamomile. I'm dreaming. And after her music lesson, she went on dreaming. She dreamed about her garden through supper. She dreamed about it through after supper. And in between Nanny Nettle coming in and out to switch off the light, and long after Nanny Nettle had finally gone to sleep, Princess Chamomile sat up in bed with paper and crayons and planned her garden halfway into the night. By morning, it was ready. This was her plan. What do you think? She asked Melchior, hopping up and down. Said Melchior. It won't be the smallest garden. It just kept growing in the plan, said Chamomile. Even so, it's the best your sort of plan I ever saw. But before we do anything, we'll have to ask your mother and father. Oh, please let them say yes, thought Chamomile. But the queen and the king were not at all sure. I don't know, the king hummed, examining the plan. It's full of things I've never heard of in royal gardens. And so much long grass, said the queen. You'll never stop sneezing, and you'll meet so many slugs and snails. That's all right, said Chamomile. They're my friends. Well, I think it would spoil her rotten, said Nanny Nettle. Her own sort of garden? What next? And besides, gardening is not princess-like. It's very dirty work. Dirt washes off, said Chamomile, even from princesses. And I could wear big gardening clothes that no one would even be able to tell it's me. Please? Oh, very well, said the king, as long as this smaller garden doesn't spoil the bigger view. So long as it's safe, added the queen, and the stream is a pretend stream, like the one in your plan. So, grumbling and mumbling, Nanny Nettle found Chamomile some gardening clothes. And right then and there, without putting it off with a single later or after lunch, Melchior measured out Chamomile's garden from the bigger, wider, palace-sized gardens. Then she, Melchior, and his undergardeners cleared the ground, built a wall, trimmed the trees, and turned over the earth. It didn't take hours, and it didn't take days. It took many long months. And as winter ended and spring began, on they worked, sawing, cementing, hauling and hoeing, turfing, topsoiling, mulching and mowing, potting, pricking, snipping and sowing, weeding, watering, and watching it grow. And though this didn't take days, but many more weeks, suddenly, at the end of exactly the time it had taken, there it was, Chamomile's garden, according to Chamomile's plan. And without even waiting to wash her paws, Chamomile called for the king, the queen, and Nanny Nettle, Mr. Parmesan the butler, Chervil the chauffeur, Bagley the cook, Monsieur the music teacher, and the rest of the royal household to gather at the gate and admire her work. And, by the way, you don't need to worry, Nanny Nettle, Chamomile announced. It isn't just my sort of garden, it's everyone's sort of garden, and so you'll see, everyone's going to want to be in it. And she was right. They did. So how about that? That is some garden, and I bet you guess what I want you to do now. Get out your paper, get out your crayons or colored pencils, and plan out a beautiful garden, just as much fun as Chamomile's. Have a good night. I miss you. Be kind to each other, and I love you.